Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 9th to the 15th of June 2014. This is an interesting week because there is a slow-moving transition which seems to be going not just against the grain but against the pace and against the direction of all the other energy around. So in the month of Gemini we can get very busy with streaming thoughts. It's a more sociable time, it's a more perceptive time, and it's a time when we're actually more stimulated and outward. And yet on Tuesday Neptune goes retrograde. So Neptune has slowed down over the last couple of weeks and is actually preparing to turn backwards. As we know, no planet actually turns backwards, it's just we're overtaking it on the inside lane, as it were. But Neptune calls us inwards to that fine-tuning, to that intuition, to that knowing, where we can, with the busy mind, we can try and override that, and we can try and convince ourselves or distract ourselves from what really matters. But Neptune is that inner resonance, that voice in your ear, that whisper on the breeze that tells you, actually, no, this is not good for you, or this is not the right direction to go in, or this is not the right time to act, or this is not the right situation or people to be around. So as we go into the Neptune retrograde, which lasts for a good 5-6 months, we feel that evocative call inwards just when everything on the outside is whizzing around like a whirlpool. So it does feel like a bit of a whirlpool energy, that calm centre drawing inwards, just as everything else is whizzing around on the outside. So there's going to be an undertone to this week as Neptune is stationary but begins to take us more into the magnetic and to tune us back in with our own truth and our own vibration and our own sense of knowing. So there's quite a theme here about thinking and knowing, because by the time we get to Thursday night and into Friday morning we have the full moon in Sagittarius. So whereas Gemini is the processing mind and the sun is going through Gemini, the thinking, the collective fields, the thought streams, the action and stimulation, the full moon in Sagittarius is the wisdom and the knowing. So that's an axis of communication that's going on there. It's okay to think, it's okay to speak, but once we stop and once we actually allow ourselves time to gather our thoughts and actually prepare them into something more sustainable, more wise, more useful, then Sagittarius actually wants to deliver the bigger story, the actual meaning behind all of this thinking and doing and being. So that goes very, very well with this Neptune retrograde. It's a chance to actually be still for a while, to actually consider the connection between thought and memory, the connection between knowing and being. So there's a big polarity coming up this week. People may feel pulled in two opposite directions, the outside world calling us to action and the inside world calling us to peace and reflection. But these are all up for inspection this week, the polarity, because Gemini speaks of the polarity, it's the twins, the light and the dark half of the year. But as we get towards the height of the summer, we're charging up the light in ourselves, we're becoming more self-illuminated, and that's what will be reflected back to us by the full moon in Sagittarius on Thursday night and Friday morning. So we can know ourselves, we can know better, we can actually know from a place of intuition the best action and the best direction to take, but sometimes the best action is non-action. Sometimes the best action is to just allow ourselves to stop and not be carried away by the collective, because Gemini loves to tune into the collective field and just stream information. But like I say, Sagittarius likes to gather it and then deliver it with a message that actually has some use. So those are the real energies of this week, the action versus inaction, the streaming of thought versus the delivering of wisdom, and the outward mental versus the inward intuition. Those are all the polarities at play as Gemini begins to reach its height. So see if you can tune in to both of those opposites, and then Gemini is all about making the fusion, realizing that the opposites are actually both on the same scale. So from extreme busyness to extreme stillness, they're not opposites at all. They're actually the ends of a scale, and you can find your place in the middle that actually suits each moment of your day. So a very deep week, a very joyful week, but a very reconnective week to get in touch with that inner light and to charge ourselves up and empower ourselves, but not get caught up in the collective stream that can be very prevalent at this time of year. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.